Funny things you were guilty of in the 70s. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Again, we're on the Recollection Road channel. The 70s, again, is where it's at. It really is. I'm excited for this. Hope I can get a good laugh. Hopefully it's stuff I don't know that's going to make me just really trip out and go, what? If I can say what, I'll be so happy. So happy. As always, I'll leave the link to their channel in the description. Go to their channel. Look at all the videos, the thumbnails, man. If you love nostalgia, you love going back, taking a trip down memory lane, man, I suggest you come to this channel and check out the videos. All right, so shout out to all the good humans. We ain't gonna waste no more time. Let's jump right into it.
There are many things about each decade
Gremlin
that are
X.
regrettable. Many of us became wrapped up in a fad or two that we wished we would have skipped over. The 1970s especially was filled with some embarrassing but memorable ones. So let's revisit some of these funny fads that many of us were guilty of taking part in during the 1970s.
Here we go. Raise your hand in the comment section if you did it, if you have it, if you loved it.
In America, anyone can be successful, and if you want proof, take a look at Gary Dahl, the inventor of Pet Rocks. The advertising executive came up with the idea while drinking with his buddies, and the idea became a fad that sold upwards of 100,000 units per day. The idea was simple: a rock, a cardboard box designed to look like a pet carrying case, and a pamphlet of tongue-in-cheek instructions. The Pet Rock appealed to those with a sense of humor for sure, but for only about 6 months. After Christmas 1975, sales fell and the rocks were discontinued. But by then, Gary Dahl had sold over 1 million Pet Rocks for $4 each, making himself a millionaire.
Yes indeed. My goodness.
There were a lot of clothing options in the 1970s, and yet many of us still chose polyester, the synthetic material.
I like this. I actually like this look on them. You know, especially these two over here in this like pinkish purple. That looks nice. It's sexy and sophisticated at the same time. You know, look at the hair, the earrings, the turtleneck. You know, they ain't got on tons of makeup. I like that. I do.
Made owning a leisure suit or a safari jacket attainable for many disco fans.
Look at
and
that,
we own
man.
them in just about every color and pattern. The casual polyester suit look became even more popular after John Travolta showed up wearing them on the big screen in Saturday Night Fever. But if you have ever worn polyester from the 1970s, you know it was a heavy and hot material that was known for being somewhat slick and shiny looking. But despite this, it was still the go-to choice for anyone who wanted to be cool in the 1970s.
Clean, brother. Looking clean.
Honor your
$16.
past by securing your future. Recollection Road believes it's important to invest in gold and silver, especially now. Visit rrforgold.com to find out why Goldco is a top-rated precious metals company that offers a free wealth protection kit explaining how you can safeguard your savings and protect your retirement. Visit rrforgold.com to learn more about the benefits of including gold in your investment portfolio. Fantasy programming on television was a staple of the 1970s, and nobody did it more unusually than brothers Sid and Marty Krofft. Big puppet heads, vivid colors, and low-budget special effects were the calling card of shows like H.R. Pufnstuf, Land of the Lost, and Sigmund and the Sea Monsters. Some suggested the shows were the product of heavy drug use, but the creators have insisted the fantastical and sometimes creepy puppets were just part of their imagination. As a kid during the 1970s, especially since most homes only had one TV, there is no doubt you found yourself watching the strange worlds created by Sid and Marty Krofft. Mood rings were apparently filled with thermotropic liquid crystals, and their molecular structure would change based on temperature. So supposedly you could tell when someone was feeling nervous, excited, or even romantic. This had all the teenagers scrambling to get them, especially the girls. Most of the time, they were a neutral green color, but as temperatures changed, they could range from violet, blue, green, yellow, or brown. Even if the rings didn't reflect your true mood, they were still fun accessories to wear in the 1970s.
Never had one of those.
Sometime in the late 1960s, it was decided that kitchen appliances in America should be either avocado or harvest gold in color. And during the 1970s, this really took hold. The 70s became known for more earthy tones, and there was no better example of this than in the kitchen. Stoves and refrigerators, made by all the manufacturers, transitioned away from the colorful pastels of the 1950s, and people started updating their kitchens with more natural colors, which included avocado and harvest gold. Were you guilty of outfitting a kitchen in these colors?
Look at that, man.
The first episode of Saturday Night Live premiered on October 11th, 1975.
I'm trying to see if I can... I forget his name, but I know he's from the... I forget his name. He's Jamie Foxx show. That's Belushi, Dan Aykroyd, and Bill Murray. I feel like I know who the women are, but I forget their names.
And the show instantly made stars of their not-ready-for-primetime players. Comedy rebels like John Belushi, Bill Murray, and Gilda Radner kept us up late with their hilarious sketches. Another skit in particular starred Dan Aykroyd and Steve Martin playing two Czech brothers constantly trying to get together with swinging American foxes. It was a solid parody of the kinds of characters you might actually find in a 1970s nightclub. The Wild and Crazy Guys skit had everyone imitating the catchphrase around the water cooler on Monday mornings.
I didn't know he used to do all that.
During the 1970s, if your shirt wasn't unbuttoned all the way down to your navel, you were doing it wrong. The look was definitely on the casual side, and it did an exceptional job of showcasing your hairy chest. If it was good enough for Burt Reynolds or Barry Gibb, then all 1970s men should follow suit. Looking back, maybe it wasn't the best look, especially when coupled with those floppy collars and leisure suits.
Women, how do y'all feel about chest hair?
Following a 1973 overhaul, the game show Match Game moved to CBS and became the raunchy, hilarious free-for-all we remember today. The show was about two contestants trying to win money by matching answers with a panel of celebrities. But really, it was about the one-liners delivered by the likes of Brett Summers, Richard Dawson, and the always outrageous Charles Nelson Riley. The bawdier, the better. And although Match Game looks seriously dated today, it still manages to deliver some solid laughs, and was a guilty pleasure for many back in the 1970s. The 1973 oil crisis hit wallets pretty hard, and filling up larger vehicles took its toll on many Americans. So some of them switched to compact new cars like the Ford Pinto, the AMC Gremlin, and the AMC Pacer. Unfortunately, whatever they offered in mileage, they lacked in design. The Ford Pinto was infamously explosive, the Gremlin handled terribly, and the fishbowl-like Pacer is widely considered one of the ugliest cars ever made. Thankfully, all three of these models were short-lived, and manufacturers recognized their mistakes, stopping production of them by 1980.
That's a hell of a car, boy.
In the late 1970s, an unlikely superstar began touring the country, with exhibitions attracting a sold-out audience. The treasures of King Tut, the Egyptian boy king, whose lavish tomb was discovered in 1922, went on a U.S. tour starting in 1976. And it was so successful, it lasted into the 1980s. The exhibition created such a buzz, King Tut and Egyptian culture was showing up on TV, in movies, and in music. Who could forget Steve Martin's costumed SNL performance of King Tut in 1978? Not to mention, many of us were guilty of owning at least one King Tut t-shirt, too.
You guys have any of that?
Let me know in the comments if I missed anything, and make sure to sign up for the Recollection Road newsletter using the link in the description.
I just want to see the comments. You know, I feel like every era has their WTFs. Like, what the was I thinking wearing this or driving this or eating this or making this? Every era has it. I think this era is going to be the worst just because it's kind of like, I feel like when people get older, they're going to be like, man, it's hard to see and to know what's real. Especially like with these TikToks, like my whole thing is like, hey, did you guys forget there's
If you enjoyed this video, consider watching the other videos.
I'm like, did you guys forget that there's a camera here? Or what? Because people be doing these pranks or these whatever videos, and I'm like, there's a cameraman. So you know it's all for entertainment. But when you read the comments, it's like as if they don't know the camera is there. Like, oh my God, I can't believe he got her with this. I'm like, there's 3 people, one's recording. I don't know. But again, man, I'm an 80s baby, but I wouldn't have mine growing up in the 70s at all. I'm going to go on Amazon and look for an old school outfit, go to a thrift shop or something. I just want to record myself walking down the street and seeing what people say. Yes, please comment below if you had any of this stuff in here, man. I don't know if you should feel guilty for it because some of the stuff was cool. I don't know about them cars, though. The Gremlin, a Pacer. I remember the Pinto. Yeah. All right. Peace out.